Mentally and spiritually, I was done with season 3, but that last episode did get me. Hey everyone, welcome back to Mo Theory, my media analysis platform. Today I'm doing another Euphoria episode review, the last one because it's now wrapped up. Before I get started though, feel free to go and check out my blog, The Mode Theory. I'll put the link somewhere here below. So let's just get straight into it. This is not my first video on Euphoria. If you're new to this channel, I would watch that video as well, just so you have a bit of a grounding and an understanding of how I felt so far about Euphoria season 3. And off the back of that, I would just say, I do think it was a great honor that they persevered and pushed through, but it's bittersweet. I do think the show was quite disjointed from what originally pulled viewers in. So, I've briefly talked about Labyrinth not being in charge of the score. There are a lot of characters no longer here with us. Rest in peace. And also, season 3, like many people have said, is in fact a Western. The whole eerie purple glitter eye makeup kind of feel to it is no, it's not present in season 3. And so that's why I would say great they stuck it out, but I was kind of over it. And like I said, if you've watched my previous video on Euphoria, I forgot to also add I was so over the constant degrading depiction of women. Now, the last episode though really did touch me. Such a philosophical and symbolic way to wrap up a season, and I really did appreciate it. Killing Rue was really emotional for me, but at the same time, it's almost like I saw it coming. I've been watching Euphoria since I was 19, and that was gut wrenching. Dude, that was gut wrenching. I felt so stupid that I didn't clock on that Alamo would do what he did. Yeah. I thought when Maddie accidentally slipped up and said that Rue was working with the DA, that it went over his head. And I don't know why I thought that. We've seen Alamo's backstory. He will never be blinded or fooled by anyone. And what he did was just so cold hearted. You killed Rue. Those were just some little pointers I wanted to very briefly discuss before I get into the nitty gritty of my video, which is that, like I said, the last episode was so symbolic and so philosophical to me. And just felt like it was full of very full circle moments. So, for example, Ali ditching his life work of becoming a better person, because in season 3 we actually got to find out a lot more about Ali's background and how he was an addict and abusive and etc. And so to see him kind of do a full circle moment and just realize, like, I've been doing these good things for so long and I'm just tired of seeing important people die in front of me, was truly gut wrenching. And I just found it ironic how he tapped into his capability to do bad, but to do a good thing, if that makes sense. So maybe good isn't the way to see it, but some viewers said that it was fair. Because if you also think about it, I'm not a big fan of Alamo's business. Also, I don't believe in like exploiting women and selling drugs to young people, and your girls are overdosing by fentanyl. Like, so was killing him good? No, but one could argue that if you, what did Nene Leak say? You can never win when you play dirty, and he came to his fate. Ali was exhausted of doing the right thing. And I also thought it was very sweet when we saw him looking at Rue in the very last scene. And I got this sense that Rue was at peace, which is what we've wanted for Rue from day one. It's sad, but that last image of her or vision of her was so peaceful. And she finally made it to the promised land. Which brings me on to the last part of the video surrounding religion. There are a lot of religious themes, more in season 3, but they really hit home in the last episode. As we know, Lexi is not a believer or anything. It's almost like in Rue attempting to find God, her tragic end pushed Lexi to also go on that endeavor to find God. Lexi says that she kind of just stared at the Bible when Rue passed away. And Rue kept going on about, Moses and the promised land, and she's going to make it to the promised land. In her journey in finding the promised land, it's almost like that's what she left behind for someone else to also do that, if that makes sense. And I guess it's just bittersweet that she had to die. Whilst I don't really want to give my own personal opinions on religion or faith, it does just seem that it's just so cyclical the way Lexi goes from like not believing, Rue leaves, and then Lexi starts her own endeavors in finding God. And it was all very moving and very emotional. I think Fez's tribute was, again, very moving and very important. At the end of the day, Fez was such a well liked and a very pivotal part of Euphoria. It was so sad that he passed away. So, like I said, I started watching Euphoria when I was like 19, 20. So, it's been such a long time coming, and it's been part of a lot of viewers' lives for so long. Even though I wasn't the biggest fan of season 3 as a whole, I did really appreciate that last episode. It was sad, but extremely moving. Unfortunately, I have to wrap this video up because my lighting is going. Stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, check out my blog, and I shall see you guys next time.